ask if there's a motion to adopt the minutes from the last meeting. Does everybody raise their hands? I assume that's by acclamation.
Abstain.
Oh, you abstain? Okay. One abstention. Oh, I'm sorry. You weren't here. Sorry about that. Just one little housekeeping thing before we go any further. I was informed that the microphone isn't working. How about that? Do I have to repeat everything for the record? Do I have to repeat everything for the record?
No, I can do that.
No.
Okay. I don't want the first few pages to be blank. People might wonder. Anyway, what I was saying is, I understand that previously the chair didn't vote except when there was a tie. And I was trying to figure out why that was, and I was told there is no particular reason for that other than that was the custom. So I intend to vote on every item, whether there's a tie or not. I always have when I've chaired other boards, and I have no intention of changing until I'm made President of the United States Senate, then I'll worry about that. Which is not likely to happen anytime soon. Despite what concerns some folks have about us establishing diplomatic relations with Cuba. The first order of business, other than the minutes, is a presentation on a proposal regarding amendment to the sanitation penalty schedule.
Hi, I'm Madeline Laborra from the Department of Sanitation. I'm here today to request a technical amendment to the existing incident penalty schedule pursuant to local law number 57 of 2013, which restricts the bulk collection of recyclable beverage containers while using a motor vehicle. Previously, the department came to the board in November of last year to request a penalty schedule. During the review by the Law Department of Mayor's Office of Operations, a subsection was inserted into the provisions pertaining to the owner violations for this violation. We've had several decisions since this occurred that the sections that were added by the Law Department of Mayor's Office of Operations really do not apply to owners, so the tickets are getting dismissed. We have the Law Department on board with changing the provision back to the entire section as opposed to subsection A or subsection B. The penalties remain exactly the same. They are fixed in the local law itself and are fixed in ECB's penalty schedule.
What's the effective difference?
The effective, it's a difference of citing to 16471 or 16471 subsection A or subsection B. And here actually operator provisions may do not pertain to an owner. And actually subsection D does pertain to the owner, but it's not clear from D what exactly the violation is for. So it makes sense to cite to the entire section of law.
Are there any questions? Discussions? Is there a motion? I think everyone has their hand up. It is adopted.
I think.
Everybody didn't have a hand up. Okay. Next item on our agenda is a presentation regarding amending the ECB DOT penalty schedule, failure to provide adequate protection at work sites.
Good morning, everybody. Assistant General Counsel Diane Haynes for oath. This rule proposal is based on the presentation given last month by Shalonda Graham of the Department of Transportation, and has since received certification from both the Mayor's Office of Operations as well as the Law Department regarding an amendment to the penalty schedule for failure to provide adequate protection at work sites. DOT is requesting that ECB amend the penalty from $400 to $1,200. Are there any questions?
Just a matter of personal observation, my office window you see the construction site across the street where that tremendous building is going up. And it's kind of hard to concentrate sometimes when you see this monster crane lifting these monster things going up and wondering how safe it is and then whether there's a strong wind and I'm going to be having several tons of steel sitting on my lap. So I think it's a good thing that such safety rules at construction sites are strongly enforced, at least while my office is there. Is there a motion? Be very careful now, make sure everybody's hands up. When I say everybody's hands up, everyone's hands up, it's unanimous. We have DP's requests for cease and desist orders.
Hey, good morning. Russell Kukunis of the Department of Environmental Protection. DEP has several requests for cease and desist orders this morning. First, we have 2 requests under the noise control code. First one regards 26 East 91st Street in Manhattan. The respondent is Manna Madison Avenue LLC, which does business as Gina La Fornarina, which is a restaurant. This establishment has been cited once last year and 4 times this year for noise from the kitchen exhaust. Due to the repeated violations and continuing failure to come into compliance, DEP is asking the board to issue a cease and desist order.
Any questions? Discussion? Is there a motion?
And obviously, I abstain.
So it's, with your exception, I think it's, we have only one negative vote, or is it a 2 vote? Okay, then it's unanimous other than your vote.
Okay. The next noise one is in regard to 361 Clinton Avenue in Brooklyn. This one, the respondent is ACAM Associates, which is the managing agent of the building, which is owned by Clinton Hill Apartments Owners Corp. At this location, there is a fan that has been cited 3 times since May of this year for excessive noise. And due to the repeated violations and continuing failure to come into compliance, DEP is asking that the board issue a cease and desist order.
Any questions? Discussion? Motion? It's unanimous. Thank you. Except for you.
Abstain, yes. Next, under the air code, DEP has 9 requests for orders to cease and desist. These are all for locations that have expired certificates of operation to use number 6 fuel oil in each of these, which is banned as of June of next year. And you can no longer get a new certificate of operation to use number 6. In each of these 9 cases, the owner or managing agent has been cited for the expired certificate of operation. In each of these 9 cases, they have been adjudicated in violation, and the board order to comply within 30 days has not been complied with. So in each of these 9 cases, DEP is requesting that the board issue an order to cease and desist.
So one question about the violations on these, because I noticed on some of them where it says at the bottom it was number 4, order number 66 is circled. So it's in all cases that it's just the number 6 that's no longer allowed, and the 4 is still allowed. Is that correct?
Right, well, we issue violations to people who use other types of fuel for expired certificates also, but we're not bringing those to the board.
So these are all for.
These are all for number 6, yes.
It's not because it's number 6, it's because it's expired.
Well, the basis for the order and compliance with the order is to get a certificate of operation. The effect of it is that they have to stop using number 6 because you can't get a new certificate to use number 6.
Can you get a certificate for number 4?
Yes, until 2030.
So is the effect of these boilers are going to be shut down? I'm not clear with
If they fail to comply, right?
Yeah, can you-
We would, if they fail to comply or if they default on the cease and desist order, we would have the ability to seal the equipment as we do under all cease and desist orders. We have a number of them, a number of the ones that the board has approved over the last few months that are in default at this time. We have not gone to seal any equipment at this time. We are trying other methods of reaching out to the owner or managing agent to get them into compliance. There are a couple of buildings with financial issues that they're trying to work through. And next spring, at some point, as we approach June 30th, if people are still not in compliance, at that point, we probably will seal some equipment.
Thanks for explaining. I didn't understand the timeframe.
Though I think there was a little underlying concern that you're not going to freeze people out in the middle of the winter. You know, if they're not in
Exactly.
compliance.
Right.
Does the equipment have to be modified in order to use a different fuel oil?
It depends on what you're switching to. If you're switching to number 4, it is a minor modification. Usually the main thing, if you're switching to number 4, is that the tank has to be cleaned out. And sometimes when the tank gets cleaned out, they find out that the tank was really only being held together by the gunk on the bottom of it, and they have to replace the tank. To convert to number 2 or natural gas is a more extensive operation, but on the other hand, if they convert to number 2 or natural gas, they won't have to change again in 15 years.
Any other questions?
Yes, just, how much of the issues that you see coming up are a result of owners, managers not being able to obtain buildings permits? For that?
The owner,
Not being able to obtain or building permits to do this?
in financial,
No, building permits.
oh, building permits, well, no, we haven't seen any, well, the only holdup sometimes with buildings permits is if they have open violations on the building. That will hold it up sometimes, but I haven't seen any other issues with them being able to get DOB permits.
Because as a matter of operation, if you need any assistance on that, like if they tell you there are open violations that are prohibiting us from going forward, we do have some operational obstacles there, I think, sometimes, and we'll be able to.
That actually comes up more often with the backflow stuff,
Right.
that when they go to get the buildings permit to do that,
Right.
that it turns out that the building has open violations and they have to clear them up first.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been a major issue with the boiler so far that I've seen.
Okay, that's not.
Any other questions? Discussion? Is there a motion? It's unanimously approved.
And obviously, I abstain. Okay, and finally, we have 19 requests for cease and desist orders for failure to install backflow prevention devices. In each of these cases, the building owner has been ordered by the commissioner to install the device because of a hazard that exists in the building. In each of these cases, based on a failure to comply with that order, a notice of violation has been issued to the building owner, which has been adjudicated in violation. And in each of these cases, the building owner has continued to fail to initiate the process of installing a backflow prevention device. And based on that, the department is requesting that in each of these cases, the board order issue an order to cease and desist.
Any question? Is there a motion? And with your abstention, it's unanimous.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item involves request for pre-sealing reports. Or rather, introduction of pre-sealing reports.
Good morning, I'm Kelly Corso, Assistant Director for Adjudications in ECB. We have 33 pre-sealing reports for today's board. 30 of the reports pertain to backflow violations, 2 pertain to noise code violations, and 1 pertains to an air code violation. I will discuss the noise code violation cases first. So we have 2 of those. They are C&D Order A 2014-0039 and A 2014-005. In both cases, the respondents' representatives provided proof of work done to bring the equipment into compliance. The equipment, in one case, was a kitchen exhaust system, and in the other case, it was an air conditioner. Based on that information and the evidence of compliance, the hearing officers in both cases recommend that DEP re-inspect the equipment and that the equipment remain unsealed if the initial re-inspections show no violations and further re-inspections show no violations for a period of 180 days. The next case is an air code case, and this pertains to failure to comply with the air code in connection with the respondent's boiler burner. This report pertains to C&D Order A 2014-0017. In this case, the respondent's representative provided proof of a valid operating certificate bringing the boiler into compliance with the air code. In this case, the hearing officer recommends that no action is necessary given the respondent's compliance. And next we have the backflow cases. There are 30 of these. In 25 of those cases, the hearing officers recommend that there be no sealing or other action given the respondent's compliance, or because DEP has determined in fact that the cited premises had an approved backflow prevention device. In 3 of the cases, the hearing officers recommend that the C&Ds be discontinued or that no sealing or other action be taken because DEP has determined that no backflow prevention devices are in fact required at the cited premises. In one case, the hearing officer recommends no sealing or other action because the respondent has sold the premises and has no further connection to the premises. And in the final case, the hearing officer recommends that the cease and desist order be discontinued based on DEP's finding that the respondent cannot install the backflow device because they don't actually have access to the line. And that's it.
Any questions?
I have one question. I feel like I remember it used to be for air conditioning equipment, it was 180 days monitoring, but it was suspended for the winter time, because equipment doesn't usually operate over the winter. Is that still the case?
The air conditioner.
Well, I don't know if I did the air, which one is the air conditioner?
This case is
And then the other, they picked up on this card, right?
TJ Food Corp.
Yeah.
Operating Subway.
Right.
in Manhattan.
And I
What's
thought,
the question?
well,
It's
for the
suspension.
fans, you start counting 180 days from now, because they run all year round, but I thought for air conditioning equipment, it used to be you start the 180 days in the springtime, or it gets suspended over the winter time, because that stuff doesn't usually run.
That depends. Sometimes the judge will make a recommendation if they are made aware at the hearing that the equipment is not used during the winter.
Yeah.
The monitoring period sometimes is suspended over the winter and starts up again in the spring. I don't know who the DEP person was on this hearing. I don't think it was me.
No, it was not.
But, okay. So I'm not sure if that was brought out at the hearing. Normally, they just recommend 6 months monitoring, and if that doesn't get all the way into the summer, it doesn't get all the way into the summer. But there have been times when they've recommended that the monitoring period start in the spring.
Right.
that's, I mean, that's the judge's recommendation, so.
That wasn't the case here, they recommended, they just recommended the 180 days.
6 months starting
They
now.
didn't make that distinction.
Yeah, I mean,
So the ramifications are,
Well, it just reaches, that, so now it reaches into June. I always thought that the suspension was a good idea because that stuff doesn't usually run. So there'll be a little, depending on if this stuff is running over the winter. If it doesn't, May, June, it'll probably run, so that'll catch it.
Yeah,
if they're not gonna use it over the winter, we might not get any complaints about it until
Right.
May or June, and then the 6 months will have expired, and if we find a violation, we won't be able to seal. That's the issue.
You have to start all over again.
Right.
We would basically have to start all over again, yes.
So the suspension is a good idea.
Yeah, I don't know, some places do use their air conditioners year-round.
Yeah,
I don't know what the situation is at this location.
I know for a fact I have a neighbor who uses their air conditioner virtually all year round, which I think is kind of weird, but
It depends on.
It's
the
their
people,
electric bill.
So I just thought it was a good idea to be able to do it. Just not be able to-
some people do just for health reasons, for air quality and stuff.
typical DEP.
Support
Made a motion to do that, or no?
Do what?
Case?
What was the question?
To add the suspension for the winter time.
To extend, basically extend the period or just suspend it until the weather gets warm.
Up to you, it's up to you guys.
Let's do it.
so when would you?
Is there a motion
Well, how does it
to,
usually re- I mean, I'm not a veteran, so how does it usually ready?
is there a motion to amend the recommendation, in other words?
One second. When's the coming, April
Well,
1st?
we are in December now, so the 6 months would expire in May. If it was extended to 9 months, that would take it through August, so.
Oh, so we could extend it to 9 months.
That's my understanding, is
opposed
that's
to
a recommendation, and they can do,
Well, how many cases?
We can amend this.
The board.
the board can change it, it's a recommendation from the hearing officer.
Okay.
So is there a motion to accept the recommendation with the amendment that it be extended to August?
Yeah, so the 9 months would be August, right?
Yeah. And it's unanimous.
Abstain, obviously.
With that, let the record show that there's an abstention from DEP. And I believe we now go into executive session, so will the Swiss Guard be moved to the So we,
I don't know how that came up, but it wasn't always something
excuse me. With the exception of one item where we'll take a full vote just on that one item, is there a motion to adopt the recommendation to affirm the appeals decisions that were presented this morning to the board?
I'm sorry, are we doing these separately from the full board
Yeah.
appeal?
It's unanimous. Number two, specifically on the case of NYC versus 114-15 Guy Brewer Boulevard LLC, appeal number 1401000. Is there a motion to affirm the decision of the hearing officer?
Alternative.
Alternative one. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and with myself 10, vote to affirm. Is there on the alternative to dismiss, is there a motion? Oh, there are 2 votes to dismiss and 1 abstention. The decision is to affirm the hearing officer's decision. Procedurally, we missed voting on some items before we went into executive session. Is there, that's item 5 on the pre-sealing reports. Is there a motion to approve the pre-sealing reports? 1 abstention. It is anonymous.
The pre-sealing reports.
So we voted only on 1 item there, instead of all of them before. So, if there's no other items before us, have a happy holiday season.
Thank you.
And I